this car, I told him when he went to pick it up, I said, which one is it I need to pick up? I said he'll smell it before you see it. This is quite possibly the worst interior I've had. The exterior isn't great, but it's possibly the worst interior I've had of any car. We'll get it off the trailer and I'll show you what I mean. So yeah, this is quite possibly the worst interior I've ever had to deal with. This dog hair is another level, and you've got all this sand in there. The dog hair is really ingrained. Look at that, ingrained into the seats. It's one of those cars you look at and you think, I shouldn't really buy it. And inside here, it's just full of sand, absolutely full of sand. The seats, look down here, all sand in there. The seats have got in-ground dirt into them. They're going to need one hell of a wet clean. Right up to the front. Even the front seats are bad. Look at this. Blow you away about this car is this, the service book. So despite obviously not having too much concerns about keeping the interior of the car clean, the servicing side of things has been done to the letter. Obviously the interior is bad, the exterior is not too great either. There's some scuffs down here, but they're low down, that's not a problem there really. I can probably do a rattle can job on that. Some down here that I'm going to need to paint there. And then getting around the back here, we've got a scuff here. I don't know how much this is going to buff out. We'll give a go at see how much buff, but the whole top of this is very flat and dull, as is the bottom. Now if that polishes out, the trick might be to get like a chrome protector here, or a black rubber protector, probably look better, to put over the edge of the bumper to sort of cover up some of that scratching, and then we'll have to see how much this buffs out. But we're definitely going to need paint here on this corner. Right, this Astra has to get done. I'm getting on this now. If I have to pull late, I have to pull late, but we need to get this car up and for sale. Now it's got its fresh MOT on it. So exterior needs a clean, then the whole thing needs a hell of a machine polish. Then I have to get inside and tackle all the dirt in there before I put the ozone cleaner in to try and freshen up, get rid of some of the smell of the dog from it. So it's had a basic wet clean now. You saw me do the engine bay. I also did jet wash the door shuts. Move the camera because it was going to get wet. Don't mind jet washing the door shuts because I've got to do wet cleaning on the inside of the car anyway. So I G101 them and then blasted them with the power washer. I've done that the same here. Actually, I might just go again and get rid of some of this mud that's still on the inside of the rubbers here. And then we'll let it dry out, bring it inside, and it's time for the machine polish then. Right, I'm going to take this interior out because it's going to be a lot easier to clean it, and luckily these are very simple little clips. First time I've come across them to get the seats out. I'll get the back ones out first and then move the car in because I want to disconnect the airbag before I take the front seats out. I don't want to upset the airbag setup. So hopefully the other side of the seats, let's have a quick look, see if they do the same thing. Pull that base up. Have you got nice little clips as well? You have, look, you just push down there, you push down there, and seats should come out. And look, found more of Westwood Ho. Lovely. You're never going to get a proper job of getting rid of the smell done, even with the ozone cleaner. Unless you get these seats out, get underneath them, and you can see all the dog hair on the bottom of them would have just carried on smelling. So seats out, only fiddly bit really is this funny setup they've got here. They don't pop straight out. Normally once they're sitting in there they just come straight out, but these for some reason on the side they need to be sprung loaded. Trying to show what they look like, and on one side it's quite mangled. So there's a spring here and there's this plastic cup, and when they clip in, that obviously tightens, so you have to get a screwdriver in and push this back and lift the seats up at the same time. So that was a little bit fiddly, but like I said, it's worth getting it all out. I can get in there now and give this carpet a really good clean down. You see, if we hadn't done this, all this would have still been there. I would have still been harbouring smells. Tell you what, just driving that in here, it already smelled 100 times better. It didn't actually smell bad at all. So I think most of the smell is concentrated in that boot carpet and these back seats. I think once we get those cleaned out, we'll be alright. So for the moment, what we're going to do at the moment is disconnect the battery. I disconnect that plug first. I'm not sure where that one goes to, but I always do that if I see those type of plugs. I figure there's a better chance of it keeping its memory or whatever. Reason for this is obviously like taking the front seats out. I don't want to accidentally set off the airbags. Worst case scenario here, I can get a radio code back from get a radio code if I needs be. So we'll get this battery off, and then I'm going to go and have a coffee, leave it for like 10 minutes or so before I start to fiddle around with it, just in case there's any charge left in it at all. Right, I had to move things about a bit because the Jaguar has gone down to Moors, and that was there, wasn't it? Moved the MGB in, and we've had an arrival from BCA, which we shall have to cover in another video, I think. Engine bay started to look nice, now it's drying out, so that will get spraying over with rubber and bumper cleaner, and I'll just let it sit on there and gloss up. So I was right, the seats hook forwards. I've just got some, don't know if you can see them, some hooks in the front going to the floor pan like that. So once you've done the back bolts out, just to lift it back like that. Then I noticed this here, I had to go on YouTube and find out. You've got this connection to a pre-tensioner down here. I nearly started fiddling with that, but I'm glad I checked first. You've got to take this little cover off here, and then you need to get this out. Now on his, it came with the cover came with it. Let me just prise this a second and see. That's what I want. I want that cover off. There we go. And I've got a little washer down there, I'll pick up in a minute. And then this here, you've got to slide it down like that and undo. There we go. And now we can get the seat out. So I got it out. It was, I couldn't fully open the door because I got too close to the Citroen van, and I still had the runners in the right the way back position. So put the runners into the closed position, push the car forward a bit to give myself a bit more room, and we've got it out. Nice big healthy plug there for all the wiring to the seat, which is nice and easy to get out. We've made 20p by the looks of it so far, which is probably about the profit level of this car. You worked out the labour time as well. Look down the side there, we needed to do this. Again, that would have caused smell. We can get to those plastics now and really give it a good clean out. I don't know, I'll have a little look. I might get that centre console bit out, but it, again, labour wise, it might be too intensive. I don't imagine there's too much dirt underneath that. I think we'll probably have gone far enough if we get the other seat out to get in and give it a really good clean. So we're hitting the seats with a combination of spraying them down with G101, then we're going to hit them with the drill brush, then we're going to draw the dirt out with the Bizzle spot cleaner. So it's going to be quite labour intensive, but by then we should have drawn everything out of the seats that we need to. So as you can see, seats come up looking good, but the runners and all down the sides here are really gungy and dirty. So we're going to use some G101, we're going to use some paint brushes, and we're going to work it all in there and then jet it all out so we get rid of all the dirt. Where it's a bit rusty here on the front of the runners, we'll give that a coating of stone chip when it's dried out, just to tidy it up. It's obviously not any issue, it's not rotting through on it, it's just the old powder coating's come off of it. So that's an intensive clean done on both seats. I'm putting them out in what's remaining of the leftover sunshine, as it is getting into the evening now. Obviously as these dry out I might find there's areas I need to redo, but on the face of it they're looking pretty good. I want to tidy up the runners on those a little bit there. So now it's time to tackle the back seats. I don't think I need to video it. It's going to be exactly the same process, guys. You know, dust them in G101, get the drill brush on them, and then get on them with the Bizzle spot cleaner to draw that dirt out. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the dirt to actually sit on top, so that's why get it wet with the drill brush. You get it wet and then get the drill brush on it to draw the dirt out, and then immediately get your Bizzle on. You don't want it to dry out at that point because it'll go back into the fabric. You want to then draw it out the fabric at that point. Meanwhile, the plastic dressing I put on, I think I used a tyre shine in the end, has dried out on the engine bay, and you can see that's how it looks. A lot of people have asked me how I do the engine bays, that's how I do it. So yeah, apologies again for the continuity, but it's now like the hottest day of the year and I've left it today to tackle the interior carpet. Now I have, I don't know, I'm in two minds as to whether to strip it out completely or not. I don't know, but I've covered it all in the washing powder and given it a few days to sit, and we're going to now hoover all this out and see where we are. I might make the decision, like I said, to pull it out of the car completely, but I don't know how much the plastics have to come out to do that. Could be a bit labour intensive, I'm not sure. We'll have a quick look and decide which way we're going to go. Either way, I think we've got to hoover this out first anyway. So looking at this and looking at how warm it is outside today, I think we're almost there. Let's just pull the interior out, I think. Hopefully, I don't know how much it goes across the middle here, but sometimes I find the easiest thing to do, if it does, is just cut it with a blade, because it's going to be tucked up underneath there again anyway. So we'll have a go. If it gets too labour intensive, we'll go back to the original plan. Right, I'm not taking one of these apart for, so I'm just basically levering stuff until I can have a look for screws. You can see why it's important to get all this out now. I mean, just around the gear lever here alone, there's a load of hair and sand. This is all going to need cleaning out, otherwise the smell's going to stay here. So I'm looking to see where this centre part attaches to this bottom part. Now, looking at it, we can see the carpet runs right underneath the centre section here. It's only a small tab here where it connects, sorry. And there's only a small tab of fabric there. Now, looking at it, I think my best course of action is cut that, cut here. These are all behind where the trim panels are. And then, hopefully, I can, with this lifted up, slide the carpet in that direction and get it out without having to take any more out from underneath here. That's the plan, anyway. I can see two screws here, either side of the gear lever, that I think are holding this to this. So I'm going to whip them out. It is a case of taking screws out and seeing what happens now, because I'm saying never taken one of these out before. Now that's allowing me to lift this away a bit. So I don't know if this is attached to this at all. Give it a quick wiggle. Still wants to come way behind here, I think. I need to do a bit more investigation. Right, turns out these panels pull back and come away. Obviously I've taken the whole centre surround out now. It's fun, isn't it, this game? So we now see how far this goes back. It looks like it's pretty free moving there. Looks like a couple of pins or something there. So I'll get the other side out. God, look, all the house dog hair got into here. It's absolute madness, isn't it? This by no means is me recommending this is a good retail car, as in it will be when I've done it, but for you to buy and flip. unless you like spending hours just cleaning stuff, then I wouldn't recommend it. You can see the pins here, they're going in that direction, so this needs to be pulled back this way. I'll come around the other side. Right, other side out. Let's have a look, see again. So we can see it joins there, like I said, with a small little tab, but then it goes right way across through the middle here under this wiring, and that's not going to be worth trying to slide it out from underneath that. That'll be a nightmare. So we'll look again. Yeah, I think what we do is cut the carpet and as far as the middle as we can, and leave the centre section in underneath all this wiring, and then just put our carpet back in. I think that's going to be the plan. Let's see what happens with this centre now though. Right, so I gave that a pull back and it's come unclipped at the front now, and there's little metal clips, so this looks like it might be free. I'll just go on the other side and do the same. I would recommend doing this with the battery disconnected, by the way, just in case you upset something. So I'm not quite sure what's holding us back now. We should be totally free. Let me have a little fiddle with both hands. Right, it turns out I had to slide out the area with the cigarette and the auxiliary input out. It just slid into 2 pins down here, either side. That was stopping the centre section. Well, I think it was stopping the centre section from coming out. It's a bit wedged down there now. I don't think there's anything else stopping it coming out now. Probably just getting it at the right angle is going to be the key thing now, I think. Well, I'm sure that's just a case of getting the handbrake at the right angle to pull it out, but to be honest, looking at it, I don't actually need to pull it out to get to what I need to get to, because what I'm looking to do is to trim these bits here, isn't it, that are underneath, so I can get the carpet out. So I don't need to actually remove those to do that, so I might as well just get trimming. Right, that's one side up, just got to trim the other side. That's to be done that side. Just got rid of a clip up there, speeded up greatly by something that my mate gas guy Ian left me behind when he did some work for me. Said I thought might find it useful. I was there trying to cut it with a normal blade, and I realised I had that. Stick it inside the edge of the carpet once you've broken it, straight out a nice clean line. Job's a good one. Cheers, Ian. Yeah, Ian's got a channel called Gas Guy, for those who don't know. All about him and his heating engineer work, which basically involves 1 day of work and 10 days in Turkey by the pool. There we have it, guys. It's out. So it probably cost me an extra hour in work, but probably saved me an hour in cleaning it. Now you can understand why I had to cut it now, because in this section here in the middle, that was all underneath all the ECUs and everything that would need to be removed to get the carpet out. In the middle, there's only little sections like here. Areas like here, I'm going to be able to use contact adhesives on the back there to glue that edge back down again. These are pinned down by the trim anyway, but I can use a little bit of contact adhesive along there. I've never had it moved before, so I don't see it being an issue. With a bit of washing powder still left in it, that'll help us clean up. So we can go outside now, just jet wash the living bejesus out of this. Scrub it. Use lots of cleaning stuff without worrying about damaging any wiring or anything like that. And then leave it out to dry in the sunshine. Well, they say only mad dogs and Englishmen in the midday sun. We can add chops to that. Let's get this carpet cleaned up. Right, so hoovered up the interior now. What we're going to do is hit it, like I said, with a G101, clean all the plastics that are fixed still in here, the floor pans as well, get in there with a brush and the G101, really work it in and then wipe it down. I don't mind if there's a little bit of the washing powder left in a few nooks and crannies that we can't find. I've got most of it up, but it's only going to help the smell overall. So believe it or not, it's actually started raining outside, so I've had to bring the carpet in, but it has dried out now because this is the following day. It got baked in the sun, so it's got dust and stuff from it from sitting outside. I've got to hoover it off now, and I'm going to still have to use a dog hair brush again down here to get all the out the nooks and crannies, and then it might need a final clean. I have got some lemon scented antibacterial that I might put in the water in the spot cleaner and go over the carpet with that, just to make sure it smells as fresh as possible. Inside the car is actually smelling quite fresh now, and that rear thing for the boot smells fresh, so if we can get the stink out the carpet, the seats don't smell at all anymore. I think we should be good to go. And to be fair, let's have a sniff of the carpet. It smells more detergent from the washing powder. That seems to be a very effective way of doing things, throwing the washing powder on it and letting it sit. Anyway, let's get this hoovered off. So there we go, there's one side done with the hairbrush and with the hoover, and there's the unfinished side. You can see it's looking a lot darker and obviously a lot cleaner. So we'll hit that side now and then get this back in. So all hoovered out, and we'll put it back in the car now. We may need to give it another hoover after I've crawled around putting all the plastics back in again, but it'll only need a minor hoover then. Certainly a massive improvement how it was. So carpet's back in. We'll start to fit panels back in. I'll have a little test, see if there's any areas it wants to pull away. Like up in the corner there, like I said, I might put a bit of contact adhesives just behind the clutch pedal rest. The rest of it, I think, to be honest, is getting these side trims hold it down pretty tight. You can see I had to tuck it in quite hard there. In the centre here, we'll just push these back through again. Again, I think the trim here is pretty darn tight to the carpet, so it's going to hold it down anyway. But you can see how much of a pain it would be to remove everything to get it out of the way to take it out as a whole. Right, now I've got to remember where everything goes, haven't I? So all the trim panels are back in and I haven't got any screws left over. So now it is time to get all the seats in. Now what I did is, as I put everything back together, I used the Dettol antibacterial spray behind all the panels as well. Just as an extra sort of effort. Like I say, I'm going to have to re-hoover again after I've been in and put all the seats back in again. And then obviously I've got to clean all the plastics one more time. But yeah, it's coming together. Right, I'm going to get the rear seats in first because they were the most complex, and I don't want my memory getting any older than it already is for how to fit them back in again. So we'll crack on and do that. Rear seats back in. Just going to run a hoover over this again quickly because I'm just bits are, so I'm moving around, gathering again, so I don't want to trap them underneath the seat. So I'll run a hoover over that again, and then we're into fitting the front seats. The seats will need another quick wipe over again as well. So time to get the polishing done. We're going to use a combination of Makeover's Ultimate Compound and G3 liquid compound, depending on how, and then I've got some G3 scratch remover, which is the heaviest compound. Depending on how bad things are, we'll start with the Makeovers and see how it does, and then take it from there. If we need to do a stronger compound in some areas, we will. Just using a cheap Von House dual, what do you call it? Dual motion. Stops swirling. I do have a big silver line polisher over there somewhere, but that's just a one circular motion. Dual motion should stop it leaving swirl marks quite so much, and holograms. Well, it's late again. It's 8:30, and I'm being called home for dinner. I have I've finished the polish, machine polish all the way around. It is looking good. We've got a very good reflection on the go. Now I have got a blue T-cut somewhere. I could run that over, but I think what I'll probably do, because I've spent a lot of time using different compounds to get all the scratches out, is just give it a really good coat of wax now, lock it all in. I'm going to commit the cardinal sin and leave all the tools out and put them away in the morning. But yeah, really, there's still some bits I could go back over again, I guess, but I'm just worried about how hard I compound, not knowing really what the quality of the paint is. I might give the bonnet one more go. There's still some light scratching in the bonnet, but certainly looks a million times better than when it came in. So back at it on the Astra. Next thing we need to do is sort these bits out down here. Now I know it's not in line of sight and I could just probably blast over it and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I want to smooth it out first. So I've got the little electric sander here. I'm just gonna smooth it all out. I'm not going to go crazy putting filler in it. I'm just going to smooth it out best as I can, and then get the colour on and try and sort of blend it up here on this edge here, and try and keep it as tight as I can to this line along here, so I don't have to spend too much time painting. Sanded those areas down. I've jacked up a little bit now to give myself a bit more room, but yeah, sanded those areas down. Now what I need to do is use a scuff pad to scuff where we'll end up blending, and the areas that I didn't end up sanding. So I'm using a red pad here. Probably want to use a grey pad, really. Missed that bit there, I might sand that a bit in a minute. Yeah, and we're going to do over the top of this line here where we'll end up blending the lacquer. So up to probably here where we'll end up blending the lacquer. We want to keep the colour below this line ideally. So we're all masked up, and we've given it a quick blast of the plastic primer before I put the filler primer on. Remember to use plastic primer first, otherwise your filler primer might not take. So we'll give that about 10-15 minutes, put some filler primer on, and we're ready to start putting some colour on. So colour's on, just starting to put the lacquer on. Obviously, like I say, we've moved the tape up now because we're going to have the blend of the lacquer across the top there. The colour runs up to the edge of the line there. Just say it's just tidying up. It's not perfection. The intention isn't for it to be perfection. It's just to tidy it up so you don't have those big scrapes on it. So we've moved the Astra into the showroom area because it's nearing completion now. There's just a few things to do. We've got to clean all the glass. Got to do the interior plastics. This seat needs another clean on the base. Big job. Well, not shouldn't be too big. Is the door jambs all need a real polish. They're quite faded. I must get a check strap as well for that door. On this side, it's very chipped here where the seatbelt's been caught in the door jamb. So I need to polish this, and then I need to touch that in. It does smell nice inside now. You cannot smell that dog hair at all anymore. It smells like, I'd say, something freshly washed in a washing machine, probably due to that powder we put in. So yeah, just got to give it another quick hoover out inside. Got to tidy up the tyres. I did just whip the hubcaps off and put some wheel trims off. Put some black stone chip behind them like I like to, so you don't see rusty wheel behind it. Engine bay's already been detailed, hasn't it? With that done, it'll get a final polish on the outside, coat of wax, something like that, and then we can get some pictures taken at last. Oh, I took the tow bar hook off as well. I've kept it on the shelf for the person when they get the car, but initially for the advertising, you don't really want it on there because people seem to think that that's a big problem. My father-in-law has a tow bar on his Freelander, and all it's ever towed is a flipping tiny little trailer of hedge cuttings back and forth to the tip. I think people always assume a massive caravan's been towed along. So the Astra's all polished up, all cleaned up, ready for a photo shoot. What a difference between the car that turned up here, eh? What a difference. I buffed in those bits I did at the bottom, blended in nicely. All the plastics have had a clean. Bodywork's had a final polish. Interior's looking cracking. Smells nice as in here now. No lingering dog smell at all. There's a lot of effort, but it was well worth doing it to make sure that that didn't hang around. It wouldn't have been pleasant for anybody. And now what we've got is something that would make an absolutely fantastic family runabout. This boot's enormous. So these are £20 road tax, and according to the books, 60 miles to the gallon average with 130 brake horsepower diesel, so plenty of pep. That blue's come up lovely now. Really reflecting well. Yeah, pleased with that. Now this is a good example of what not to do if you're trading cars. That might sound funny now, it's looking this good, but the amount of time in this car, between Davey doing painting, me doing the cleaning, there must be four solid days of work in this car alone, and then the MOT work. For the return, it doesn't stack up versus getting a car that you can valet in a day, get down the garage, get it MOT'd and stick it up for sale. But we know this is what my channel's all about, is taking stuff like this and turning it around. So yeah, comment down below, what do you think of it? So I hope you enjoyed this longer video. I know a lot of you have been asking for them, and I know a lot of you like the transformation videos. I know you like the whinging customers ones the most, but I know a lot of you like the transformation ones as well, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you did, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It costs you absolutely nothing to do. It just supports the channel, gives you alerts when new videos come out. It'd be hugely appreciated. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, because that recommends it to other people. So thanks again, see you soon.